Hi everyone, welcome to round 5 at Manchester Congress, which is also the 5th and final round. I am on half points so far. I'm playing against Steve Rush, graded 126 ECF as black, and I could do a win in this game because of his low rating. I'm going to lose points if I draw the game. Then if I lose, it'll be disastrous in my grade, but if I win this game I gain a couple of points and get 3 out of 5 in the major. Albeit with not the most hardest draw, like no 150s or 160s, but it'd still be good, solid, and gain a couple of points. But it was practically a game I should win this. Well, he's actually a strong player. He's a very aggressive for a start. He knows his openings really well, and he'd won the like I'd done disastrous at the Layla Major. He'd got into the minor and he'd won it outright as well with 5 out of 6 and won his first 4. So I knew how dangerous he was. And was not looking forward to this game that much, to be honest, because I'm 15 points high graded, but I felt he's at least as strong as me, if not stronger. And he also had white and as a hacker, and I don't really like playing hackers as black much in case you get an unsound gambit and get smashed. Anyway, let's have a sip. Vimto this time. But anyway, he seems to like his Facebook as well. So Sunday was like play the people who like Facebook day, because I like it as well. That's what made it interesting. But anyway, onto the chess. I'll try not to draw on as much in this video, but it might be as hard. And we're going to see that a very different draw to the one I had against Ian, which is quite a close game. But this is anything but. This is actually a really exciting game, so strap your seatbelts on and let's go. He played e4 as expected, because hackers usually play e4. e6, French, good choice against hackers as well. d4, d5, and knight c3. I always get a bit of a rush sometimes inside when people play knight c3 against me, because I love hacking people up with a Winawer. Bishop b4, e5, c5, a3. This is all mainline. Bishop takes, pawn takes. And I like to play queen c7 straight away these days to limit white's options, but now I played knight e7. And I was expecting queen g4. Which is the main line and also the sharpest line. So what do you think hacker would play? Well, I'd play queen c7 and sack the pawns, and we'd have a massive hack 'em up. Because you see, the main disadvantage of the Winawer is that you're giving up your dark square bishop, so your dark squares are very weak, and Bobby Fischer described it as anti-positional because of this, but he also said e4 was best by test, so therefore cannot be trusted. And in fact he played knight f3, which is a positional move played by a hacker. But I suppose he is capable of playing solid at times, and he plays the opening actually quite solidly before it descends into chaos with a very provocative knight move at move 11 that I play. Also, another positional move is a4, which clears the a3 square for the bishop, because the dark square bishop in this position is like one of white's most important pieces, because it's not got a counterpart, because I've given mine up to inflict weak double and isolated pawns and an isolated a pawn on white. But bishop a4 and bishop a3 is a strong idea. But I've just rewind a few moves. A move that you sometimes see black play. If black players are scared of 7a4, you sometimes get queen a5, and after bishop d2, this move, crane looking move, queen a4, which stops it. Which is quite a good line actually, which I'll probably try sometime. That's another story. So knight e7, knight f3, and I play queen c7. Just getting some c-line pressure, and in some lines, not in this one, but when white's play queen g4, white's vulnerable to queen c3 check winning the rook, which mate of mine called John Mahoney fell for it when we played a rapid game at Bury recently, which I actually got 5.5 out of 6 and 100 quid out in the minor. So white has to be careful after queen c7, but it doesn't matter because he's not committed his queen to g4, so he's always got bishop d2 protecting the rook. The main move ever is b6, like planning an extended finish or to swap off the bishops, because black's light square bishop is like his worst piece in the French, because when you play e6 it limits his score badly, and white's bishop is very strong because black's is usually out of game and it can like come to d3 and then sack itself in h7 and all sorts of nasties. So he actually carries on playing solidly with bishop e2, and after c takes d4, knight b6 plays bishop e3. Maybe preparing c4 coming up soon. And after bishop d7, castles, the fun really starts now. Now he's developed all his pieces in that and I haven't castled, so he can actually start hacking now if he wants. So I decided rather than castle long or short, I'll liven the game up a bit and play knight f5. I'm playing a very double-edged swap. Now interesting might be bishop c1, preserving the bishop, but this isn't white's good bishop. Knight a5, I was thinking controlling c4, and after rook b1, putting pressure on b7, and I was thinking of bishop a4, hitting back at c2 with a complex game for both sides, and I quite like black here. But he plays the hacker's move, g4, weakening his king, but attacking my knight with tempo. And this is where the fun really starts. In fact, after knight takes f3, f takes c3, we've now got a double-edged swap. I've doubled white's pawns in the centre, but I've also technically strengthened white's centre because the d4 pawn is protected, which also protects the e5 pawn. However, the e3 pawn, it does become very vulnerable in this game. I've also given white an f-file for his rook, which makes it practically unsafe to castle long. Short, I mean. So I'm a bit committal, but white's king's also been opened a bit. But it seems it's going to be hard to hack from this position, unless I played a very risky move, which took quite a few minutes for me to motivate myself to play, especially as a hacker. And I played f6, which is a very good move actually, but it looks risky. Because you can take, and after g takes f6, we've got another double-edged swap. First of all, I've now got an inroad to white's king. I've got a half-open g line for the rook. I can castle long and then take double rooks. I've got a queen point at his h2 point. I've also stopped a knight coming into e5. However, my king is still in the centre, and the queen side where I've got a castle now is very weak, potentially with a b line point at me. It's very double-edged and I'm in for a very exciting game. When he plays the best move, which is c4, which white's got a dynamic advantage of leading developments, so it's best if he opens the game up before I can castle. Well, I do castle actually, but he's trying to catch my king in the centre. But another point is that after castles long, he can take on d5, and now I have to take back, and I've got two isolated pawns now, so the pawn structure's been messed up. But I have got an inroad to white's e3 point via half open e line, so it's double-edged. A lot of double-edged decision in this game. But I was playing a hacker. Also, apart from c takes d5, possible was knight h4, and now h5, but we're going to see an idea like that in the game. In fact, it's very similar to the game. So after c takes d5, e takes d5, knight h4, I actually thought I was heading for 2 out of 5 here, because I look a bit positionally lost already, because I've got 3 isolated pawns. His knight's got a lovely outpost on f5 that's really hard to get rid of. But I've got an advantage of a safer king, and I can get at white's king. And in fact, the best move here probably is rook d8, applying some pressure to the e3 point, and after queen d3, protecting it and bringing the last piece into the game. Rook hg8 with a double-edged struggle for both sides. With rooks now and queen mentally pointed at white's king, white has to be careful. And this, I'd say, preserves dynamic equality. I'm also threatening to take on g4, thus rendering the h7 pawn immune. But white's got his chances as well. Rook b1's coming, and white's going to be attacking with his pieces on the b line. And the position is dynamically equal, I'd say. However, I go in for a very crazy looking pawn sacrifice, because I wanted to win this game, you see, so I decided to mix it up as much as possible. And also, out running for prizes, I like to have a bit of fun in the last round. I mean, I'm not used to that because I've won nearly every single tournament I do, but, well, now I do, but, well, I did last year, and then I've won a couple recently, but mainly rapid ones. My one player seems to have suffered a bit. But anyway, here comes the pawn sack. See if you can guess it, it's not hard to guess. Well, I thought that I'm just going to get crushed by white on the b5 if I don't do act fast. So I'll drastically play h5, exclamation mark, question mark. I thought this was easily refuted at the time, but it's actually really good and one of the best moves by Houdini, remarkably. I need to look on h5. Also, I've left my f6 pawn on pre as well with that move, so he could go on rook takes f6, but I go h takes g4. And the only move to avoid serious material losses on mate is queen e1, and now rook d8. And black's got a good game here, so the f6 pawn was practically unsafe to take, or risky. So he takes an h5, and now I've got two rook checks now. You can have a quick look, which one do you prefer? They've both got a big advantage and they've both got a big disadvantage. And they both lead to a slight advantage to white. I mean, Steve thought, and I did as well after the game, that he's actually winning at this point, but it's actually not only a small advantage to white. In the game, I checked with the H-rook. Let's see, if I check with the D-rook, then first of all, the move played in the game, which was knight g6, loses to rook takes g6 check, because the rook's immune due to mate and h2. So he has to play king h1, and I can play queen d6, protecting my pawn, and after rook g1, neutralising the pressure. White looks like he's consolidated his extra pawn, but there is still plenty of counterplay for black to be had in this position. But I'd fancy white's chances more. Pardon me. Now in the game, I checked with the H-rook. The reason I did this is because I wanted to keep the E line up for the other rook, but maybe this wasn't the best decision. Now first of all, if king h1 is played, then rook d8 gives black a really good game, with pressures down the G and E lines. So like, king h1 for the other one was like a really good move. Now it's not a very good move, but the other move, which lost in the other variation, because my rook's not on h8 anymore, knight g6 is playable, giving white the edge. Now there's an immediate threat of rook takes f6, which would put white 2 pawns up and solidify a strong knight. So I play f5, removing the pressure, and I'm going to play bishop e8 next and pile up on the g6 knight. So it looks like king h1 is a logical move here, which he was suggested as winning for white. However, it's not quite as simple as that. After rook d8, knight f4, you see white's retreated his knight and has got pressure on 2 isolated pawns, and he's also a pawn up. Rook takes c3, loses the knight takes d5. And white's definitely better here. Black hasn't really got enough compensation for pawn, but it's not winning, I'd say. White would have to be careful he doesn't get hacked up on the G line. And I think black's got activity to cause human player problems. So I'd say advantage to white, but black's got about half a pawn worth of compensation, and engines back me up there. But instead he plays rook c1, question mark. This goes in well with his aggressive style, where he's ignoring like the threats that I may have on him, but he's putting his rook on the c line, lined up against my queen. And I could play a slow move like king b8, but of course hacking mode. And plus if I do, it might go like queen a4 or something. So I go bishop e8, which is easily the best move, attacking the pin piece twice. Sit. And now here comes the fun. There's a really funny moment coming up soon. Now if king h1, then bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes. Now we can take my f5 pawn. And now it's covering the h5 square, by the way, which we are going to see is critical. There is no deadly queen sack on h2 because after rook h8 can block on h5. And now I'll probably just play something like queen e7, playing queen h4. And this is white's best. Black's got very good compensation for the pawn, but there's nothing clear cut. But white's going to find it very hard, if not impossible, to consolidate, and black's certainly got counterplay. But this is white's best. Instead, he plays queen c2. This puts another piece online with black's king and black's queen online, which can only be a good thing because now the knight's pinned. Also, there's 2 pieces on f5 and it's only defending once, and white's already up a pawn, remember, with a passed pawn. And so this looks good, doesn't it? However, this move is a bad move, and for tactical reasons, which should have been punished. So I play bishop takes g6, h takes, now rook takes with check. So I've won the pawn back, but my f5 pawn's going to fall next turn. Or is it? Now white's got 3 options here. If king f2, which is the best one, then we have queen takes h2 check. So he allows black's queen in with check, and temporarily goes down the pawn, but we will win the pawn back. And after, if king f comes up, by the way, this is mate, but he won't do that anyway, be stupid. King e1, now rook f6 takes, and then rook e6. And black's all of a sudden probably got the edge now. Now, not only is it equal pawns, but white's king is caught in a crossfire in the middle, and white hasn't got any attack at the moment. But I don't think this is terrible for white. It's better than, well, it's the best move he had. But Steve won't like this position, I can tell. I'm sure if he's got a YouTube account, I'm sure he'll back me up in the comments or on Facebook. But anyway, so he had two options, and now the other one is King H1, and this allows a forced mate in 3 moves. If you want to try and spot it, please stop the video now. And by the way, you may notice this video lasts for a few more minutes, and well, anyway, try and spot it. Now here, I could have gone and missed the simple Queen takes H2 check. You see, after King takes H2, Rook H8 check. White's King has been mated along the H and G lines via a lawnmower mating combination. And I don't know how I missed that. In fact, I do know how I missed it, and he's going to explain how we both missed it, right? And first of all, you look at this position, and of course, I saw the potential for a lawnmower mate, and he did as well. But the thing is, when Queen takes H2 check, we both forgot that White's King's going to be on H2. We thought the King would be on H1 for some bizarre reason, because if the King's on H1, then White can chuck his bishop away, and then he can block with his Queen and be an exchange up in an endgame. But we both missed that somehow. So he walked into like the forced mate, and then I failed to do it because of the same reasons. So that's like a blind spot in the player's calculation, an instructive lesson there to be learnt. So that should have sealed 3 out of 5. However, he could have sealed 3 out of 5 for himself, amazingly enough. Not only does Queen H7 miss a forced mate in 3 moves, it's not even that hard to see. It actually is a terrible blunder which White misses basically a forced win here with Bishop D3 double exclamation mark. So White goes from completely busted to winning with this move, because there is no way to stop loss of the exchange, because the pawn's going to go with check, and also Rook and Queen are on the same diagonal. So I'm going to lose a pawn and an exchange, and the advantage is like 5 or 6 pawns on the computer, so it's probably damaging finish there. And that's practically a forced win for White. A bit like resigns almost here. So basically I've gone from should have got 3 out of 5 to should have got 2 out of 5 and crucified my grade even more. So now I can but however the fun isn't ended yet. So I play Queen H7, he just pats takes the pawn. And after King B8 he now plays Queen F4 check, which stops any the deadly queen sack, which by now we'd both realise works. Well, I actually hadn't realised, I still probably wouldn't have played it, but he'd realised it. Now I have 2 moves, King A8, Rook G D6, which do you prefer? One loses the game on the spot practically, and one keeps about an equal position. Well, you won't think this was a major with standard now of play this game's turned into. I have to play Rook G D6 to get out of the way of any skewers. What do? I just play King A8, double question mark. And I just do not get how he simply misses Bishop D3, double exclamation mark, winning a clear exchange. And White's also a pawn up. And now, of course, this would be very bad for me. And also with that rook gone, Black's got, because the thing is, the knight in c6 never actually gets into the game because it always has to stay on c6, and my back rank's dead weak. So I just have a queen and rook, and that's not going to do any damage against White's king, and that'll be lost. And I'll be on 2 out of 5 again. However, after rook f2, and now I've got some compensation for a pawn, so I can go for 3 out of 5 again and play queen g7, with having rook g8 and a trebling on the g line, with some die consequences. He plays a good move, Queen F7. Well, it's actually not actually that good move, because if I take the queens off, it actually let's say Queen takes F7. Of course, I disregarded it because I'm a pawn down. But after Rook takes F7, I can win the pawn back with force by Rook E6. Because if he protects his pawn stay with Rook C3, then I've got this tactic based on his loose bishop on E2 with knight takes D4, giving about an equal endgame, maybe slight advantage to Black. So I actually should have took the queens off, but didn't see any of this, and played Queen H6, which threatening Queen takes E3. And here he could have played an interesting move, which is Queen C7. This protects the H2 pawn even further, but also has a nasty little tactic against Queen takes E3. If I play Queen takes E3, quick test for your tactics, what would White play? Well, black's back rank is very weak, so there's a queen sacrifice in d8. Now the queen's not protecting it. Immediately taking it allows this mate on the back rank. And bringing a knight back, you just stack the queen and then mate with the other rook because of black's weak back rank. So that will be game over. The preferred move would be to move the queen to g5, protect the rook, and prepare a doubling, trebling, sorry, with equal chances. So I play queen h6. He plays queen f4, offering another queen swap. I mean, he's a hacker, but at the end of the day, he's a pawn up, so the endgame is going to be preferable to him. And I do have most of the pressure. I just drop the queen back and invite a repetition as well, because I am a pawn down. I do not want to lose this game. So if he plays h4, however, which is a horrible weakening move, weakening g4 and g3, and maybe even gives black an advantage despite being a pawn behind, because the engine starts assessing it at minus 0.2. So that means that black's 1.2 pawns up on position, because white's a pawn up in material. In fact, I play rook g8, trebling on the g line, and he plays the only move actually to stay in the game, which is queen h2. Say he does something like rook d1 and I go check, taking of course allows immediate mate, king h2, and now there's some flashy lines given with I think it's rook g2 check, but the simple one would just be takes, and then fork the king and bishop, and then black's a knight up and would win, and that'd get me 3 out of 5 hopefully. However, after queen h2, this move was accompanied by a draw offer, and I had a few minutes to stay at the position, and I thought, I'm pawn down, so take it, but I'm also got mega compensation. He's 15 points low rate, so he's got a high chance of making a blunder. He's got a weak e3 pawn as well, which reduces, his pawns are pretty weak, so that reduces the pawn advantage. My king's a bit vulnerable though. I can never really move my knight due to stuff like rook c7, queen c7 and all that. But he never gets an attack in my king despite being a hacker because my knight on c6. The problem is I can't get into the game. And my rook's a trebled on g-line and everything, but I can't do anything when his pieces are like that. But if I keep him there, he can't do anything either. So basically he's stuck doing nothing if I keep my pieces there, but because I can't really make any progress with them, a draw offer was accepted, I decided, and I thought 2.5 out of 5 will give me, it lost me 7 points in the end. I came at 1-3-4 when I'm 1-4-1. But I thought it's a good recovery from previous tournament, and this is probably about a draw this. It's last round as well, no chance of money, so that increases the motive to take the draw. And I hope you enjoyed my games from this fantastic tournament. That was good off and on the board, well mainly off the board, but on the board it was pretty good as well after my previous disasters. I hope you've enjoyed this very aggressive game. Very topsy-turvy this game. It could have been, I could have had 2 out of 5 and I could have had 3 out of 5, but I got 2.5 because we both made some bad blunders. But that's chess for you. I hope Steve, you've enjoyed this game if you're watching it. And for now, another long video, marathon video I've done. But I hope you enjoyed this exciting hacking game, and please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.